All right, welcome back. It is Calling the Audible, Division 3. I am Mo.
I'm Simon.
That's Peas. Kind
Hey,
of.
Peas.
Sort of.
Hey, PZ. That's CP.
And I'm me.
All right, as we start up the clock, and we're ready to go. All right, let's dive into this. The week that was, we dive into the playoff situation. Let's go to the first game that I saw, Junkyard Dogs against KGP.
Oh,
Now, let me just say, like, Rob White's is a dear friend of the FPF scorekeeping community.
it's been around for a long time. Man.
You can't call it defense, bro. You can't call it defense. I'm sorry, but your defense is terrible. Like, you allowed KGB champs with backups essentially beat you guys. Rob White, you got to retire from play calling, man. Your defense is old school, out of touch.
Well, so here's the thing. KGP, I don't understand how this happened, but KGP and Matt Kurek for most of the season, but he was playing at the same time on the next field because he joined the team like after the season began, so it doesn't have the scheduling. KGP so James Crow went down early in the season with a shoulder injury, hasn't played since. So they lost one of the number one receivers. There were only 7. They'll lose a guy to injury. Another guy, Anthony Carvalho, also got hurt.
Yeah.
Pulled his hamstring at some point. So the last 2 guys, they've been looking for bodies every single week. The last few weeks, they've got this steady 9 guys roster. So they don't have Jeff Rosenblatt on defense anymore. No, like they look better, but there's no reason Junkyard lost that
What
game.
was Phil Culler's passing line? 16 of 18 for 201 yards and 6 TDs.
Brutal. I mean,
Rob White, you can't call defense.
I mean, I love Phil. He's a nice guy. Listen, what he does for a living, that's a different story. You don't have to put fucking parking meters everywhere, man. Like, it's whatever. But
someone's got to pay his salary.
I guess. But at the end of the day, to be honest, he's one of those quarterbacks that doesn't go 20 for 20. Right? Like Phil,
He went 16 of 18.
that's what I'm saying. Phil is not that quarterback who's going to go 100% completion. He's going to go, he's going to be borderline 50, 55%, but he's going to score most of his drives. He doesn't throw those super safe plays all the time. For him to go 16 for 18, there's a problem with that defense. There's a problem there. And it's every time when we watched that game, we were together yesterday. When we watched that game, everybody was pointing fingers at somebody on Junkyard Dogs. It was always somebody's fault. It wasn't like, there's a blown coverage or a bad play or whatever. It was finger pointing time. It was someone's fault, and it's the signs of a team that's struggling and are fed up with each other.
Yeah, I think, and we can trace it back to the spring season when they got ripped in the playoffs. I forget who ripped them in the playoffs.
But they lost guys, though. Like
They lost
that
guys.
team,
Jonathan Williams. They lost
that team that they had in the spring was a dominant
But they got
team.
ripped in that playoff game. They have never been the same since then. And
Well, they lost guys, right? So they have guys that don't play for them anymore. They have the ref, J-Dubs.
Jonathan Williams
was one of the biggest, was probably their best player that season, aside with Rory in different types of player. John was a dominant player
but
they haven't had to get replacements since.
No,
they tried to find a guy that could replace the size matchup, the corner. They just don't have that.
No, and yesterday Phil Cutler looked like he was Russell Wilson in the pocket, man.
He was playing well, but listen, Junkyard Dogs individually they made plays, man. Guys were making. Rory had one of the sickest interception I've seen in a long time. That one-hander, he got the DB got called for OPI on the push-off, and he still caught it with one hand in front of DB and ran over.
Well, that's beats the Ryan Dobbs Garnet INT.
Oh, that was dumb.
That was dumb. And
That was Did he get the INT or did Phil get
Ryan? Ryan got it. Yeah, Phil tipped it up to Ryan.
So the ball is thrown at the receiver. Receiver doesn't get it. Ball's tipped up in the air. Phil Cutler with one hand sort of tries to tip it back to himself.
Yep.
Ends up tipping it backwards. Ryan
off his knee.
For some reason is on the floor. And the ball tips off his knee, off Phil Cutler's lower legs, back on Ryan Garnett's knees.
For the INT.
Stays there.
Yeah.
And then they just have it in somebody has it in his hands and the ball never touched the ground. And this was a turning point in the game too. The game was tied.
Yeah, they were done though, Junkyard Dogs.
That point was tied at that game. The game was tied at that point. Junkyard Dog and then KGP scored, go up, and then Junkyard Dog just couldn't keep up. And
except for Rob White to retire as a defensive play caller. He can't do it anymore. He can't, man. I'm sorry, man. Like he just can't do it.
It was a bad game.
This has been a mountain of bad games.
This was a do or die game for both teams.
Yes,
because of the standings.
Yes.
And as close as the game was most of the way. Like it was trading back and forth. And listen, Junkyard Dogs offense played well in the first half.
Played okay.
They were fine. They scored on every drive. But in the
just a
second
bad
half,
mix.
it was a complete meltdown on both sides.
Bad mix, and it's time for Rob White to cede their DC play on someone else. Malheur beat Cougars 24-19.
We have film on this game brought to you by Chris Rive.
Oh, look at this. Here we go. Oh, look at
On
this.
the Malheur game?
There's us. So here we go. First half action over here, and we see Phil Keller roll into his right. Is that Phil Keller?
Cutler.
Anthony Beauchamp-Freza.
Oh, Beauchamp. Oh, yeah, Cougars. Sorry, I thought you still going this game here.
No, that's Malheur Cougars.
Look at
Yeah.
them flags missed.
Yeah, that was bad. Now here's the
Cougars
thing.
allow a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
Week 1, they allow one to me. That tells you enough.
you know, rushing, and then here's another play right hand. Look at him go, and he gets sacked for the loss, and then nice shoulder pass right there to number 23.
Beauchamp's a good player, man, this season.
Yeah,
the
he's played well.
this season have been very dominant.
They have.
Better than I expected them to be.
Getting under the skin of a lot of people, and
But that's what they've been doing since they started FPF.
I know.
They're very chirpy. They're physical players. They're all good players, and they don't mind the contact at all. So if they start going up for balls on defense against you guys, and you say, "Oh, we'll do it too," they don't mind that. They want that.
I just thought. I mean, I do look at left plays on the field. Too many misplays. They should have won this football game.
But that's. I feel like that's Cougars' season this season. Like they started off hot. They beat Lightweight, which is not really like whatever. And then they beat Brotherhood again.
That was a great game though. They were down 3 scores.
But they were up to They were playing really well. They were putting up 35+ games. Their offense was rolling. Their defense was getting there. Like when we played them, it was week 1, and you could see there was some problems, and then they sort of fixed them. So they've been playing better and better. But now their offense is struggling, and their defense is still good. But like they kept Malheur to 24 points, which is good. But they only put up 21.
Yeah. Yes, Eagle.
I'm watching these highlights, yet to look at the box score. Did AJ Gomes pop off in this game?
He did with no number.
Oh, that's why. Because I'm like 2 touchdowns, a pick 6, great plays. Like he's all over the place.
Yeah, no number. Unfortunately,
I see it. No number, literally.
What's the league rule on no numbers?
You don't get a game played. You don't get stats.
No
Okay,
stats,
cool.
bro.
Just want to verify. Thank you.
No stats, bro.
Just want to verify. Thank you very much.
I think he chirped Mokan for 3 hours yesterday. It was
Yeah,
pretty
just
good.
wanted to just let them know what's up.
Yeah, but no, the Cougars have been playing better, but they just
Jason Wolke should be much more involved.
they don't
in the
have that
offense.
killer shot, man.
But Wolke should be much more involved. Look at there, nice catch by Wolke right there.
They don't have that killer shot. Every time they keep games close and they lose.
They do, and there's the games that they should have won that they lost, and there's games that they won that they should have
And
lost.
to me, they're a better team than their record shows.
yeah,
But
Nice one-hander.
but they're going to end up being in a very tough position coming to the playoffs.
yeah.
They're going to be one of the lower seed playing against probably the Madrid or the Stud, and those are two
That's
bad
a bad
matchups for
matchup
them.
You can't bang with the stud. Can't,
No, but they could keep up with the Madrid again. But
I think they could beat the Lemma if they play them the second time round.
we'll
But
see.
Anyway, I guess I caught your attention there, Simone.
Division 3. Sorry, my phone. I wasn't ready for this.
I know you weren't.
No.
I was in the washroom for 10 minutes.
That was the 4.
Was it 10 minutes? Yeah,
It was long, man. I did 4A recaps by myself, like
I
5
think it has
games.
to be quick, man. And it wasn't
I was
quick.
actually expecting Ego to chime in a little bit, but he was as
Ego-
silent as it gets.
Yeah, Eagle's trying to put you on
It's a monologue for
yeah.
a reason.
He's trying to put you on your own island.
He put the music in, and he got tired and took it off at some point. He never came back. Martin the Flag beats Trinity. To me, this is it's big because Trinity started off the season well.
Yeah.
Has been playing terrible since. 8 points. Who scores 8 points?
He scores 6-point
And-
touchdown and 2-point convert.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Or
8 points.
safety.
Or 4 safeties.
Like 8 points is
4 safeties.
or 8 returns for INT.
Wow, that was sick. No, Martin the Flag, their record's getting good because they're winning these games. I think they're vulnerable in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not buying Martin the Flag, but now they're 6-3. Eagle, 6-3? Question mark?
I can check.
Please.
Can you please? Thank you.
Don't buy time. Just do it. Please. Trinity, they're on a tough path, man. They've been spiraling.
They are 5-3. Martin.
5-3, the number 2 seed because they win the division at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And they have Olympia Performance and Scourge Your Girlfriend left in their schedule.
7-3. Let's go.
Yeah, 7-3.
Top Sauce loses again.
I was there for that one. That was
Top
bad.
Sauce loses again to Sweat and Beers.
Vinny Nardone was a little bit late to the game. But
Sweat and Beers is one of those teams where they don't fit in 4. They would have been too good for 4, but 3 is a big jump. They're competitive. I just don't see it this
this is
season.
a bad loss for those Top
But-
Sauce.
Top Sauce, the entire season, they're 3-5, man.
Yeah, and it kind of we're talking about junkyard dogs, right? And this discombobulation of the roster.
Top Sauce won't make playoffs at this point.
No, I think it was well summarized by Justin McLean, who pulled a hammy on a deep ball,
Ooh, that's not good.
and he was very upset by that and visibly upset. He expressed his thoughts on the sidelines, and he walked off. He left.
That's not good.
I think that
Hey,
summarizes
well,
their season.
Yeah,
in
but
a
he also
nutshell.
he needs his body to work. You can't.
I agree, but this, what? Look, if
But
you're
yeah,
if you're hurt, if
I
you're
agree,
hurt,
it sums up-
you're upset, you're frustrated because you want to help the team, but
It sums up the season for Top Sauce.
he
Where
had 2 drops prior to the pull hammy.
that's unusual.
And this is with Chris Miar throwing the football.
Yeah. So what happened
yeah.
there?
Because Vince was a little bit late.
So
he
Miard did the first drive.
first, yeah, and unfortunately
0
McLean.
for 5. Wow.
Yeah, but hold on here. The defensive Chris Miard. He
So he had 2 drives.
He had 3 catchable balls that were dropped. I think 2 by McLean. I forget the third one who had it.
Probably Terry.
GM.
No,
I love how
Terry
we
wasn't
just
there.
threw staff under the bus immediately.
Terry wasn't there, but
Terry wasn't
but
there,
It should
huh?
have been. It should have been first play deep. Like Chris Miard threw a gorgeous deep ball, and McLean dropped it. I was like, okay, 1 drop, and then McLean dropped the ball from Vince. I was okay, that's a little bit weird. And then he dropped another ball from Miard before Vince came back. And I was like, oof, okay. And then he pulled his hammy, and he said, look, my ham's screwed up. I can't run anymore. And he was upset, man, right? And it summarizes Top Sauce in a nutshell. Like, this has been a team on paper that has so much talent, plush with talent, and they just come up short. And this loss to Swin Beers kind of personifies that they're not going to be a playoff bound team.
They're 3-5. They need to win out.
I don't think they will, though.
They need to win out.
It's such a weird team this year, man.
They need to win out. And I agree with you.
You got LGM coming up week 11.
Oh, that's a
and
win.
then-
And lightweight next week.
yeah.
Hello.
Oh, on Saturday in Lachine. Okay, so
Hello. Yeah, it's Saturday game. It's the worst. I have a little scoop for that, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'll keep it on the wraps because I know Jim is watching this podcast.
So is Holloway.
Yeah, but all wax on his team. You
He
can
was
sit
in
with
this
us.
game.
Oh, he was subbing probably. Okay, so there's a few games I want to talk about. The first one, the big game for me, is the Commission beats Dirty Dogs.
that's big.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
What's up with that? Commission. So Chris Olsen is playing well. Well, he's better than what they had before. But Dirty Dogs, how did they drop this one?
But this is expected Dirty Dogs, right? I mean, they kind of.
I mean, no, not this season.
Yeah, but they've
super
over
well.
exceeded expectations, though. They've been a bunch of overachievers.
Ah,
No one, honestly, Simone, do you think they would have 6 wins at this point in the year?
No.
No.
I thought they were going to slum it at 4 and 6, make the playoffs.
Struggle to get in the playoffs.
But
Hollow says hi, by the way.
hey, what's up, Paulo? But they've
And
been,
he did the Forrest Gump wavy face.
but they've been playing super well. But Ryan Lewandowski had a bad game with 3 picks. The Commission is not a bad team, but it's also not a contender in Division 3, in my opinion, with this roster.
So here's the thing, though. For Commission Trinity, are you worried by their lack of offense in the points for?
Well, Commission, since they had Chris Olsen, they put up a lot more points.
Here's the thing. First 4 games, they scored 20-plus points. Last 4 games, 30-plus points.
Yeah, since Chris Olsen came in.
Whereas Trinity, last 3 games, 33 points in total.
That worries me a lot. Like, Trinity needs to get their shit together.
Their feces together.
Yes, let's go with that. Let's talk about the game you score kept, Mokan.
Which one was this?
Shit against the Bearskins.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Talk about
Guys were tossed out.
So-
Sean Avram tossed out.
So we talked about the Matter Cougars with that. This is the game to me. This is we have it. It's an unofficial game of the week, I believe, or official game of the week. Unofficial. You were gonna see it at some point. Bearskins had to play with 5 guys during the game because 2 guys got OCs.
Whose fault was that? Sean Avram or the
Oh,
referee?
No, Sean Abram and Vinny, both of them, idiots. Why do you talk so much? Like, the referees were too nice, man. Like, at some point, if they tell you to stop 17 times, you're gonna get an OC eventually. I was on the sidelines. I was on the other field. I wasn't even involved in this game, and I was fed up with hearing them complain all the time. I would have given them OCs like 17 minutes before. But they kept crying for everything, and at some point you get ejected.
Yeah, this wasn't even close, man. This is a whitewash by.
Oh yeah, Shit played
Shit.
well. Well, Shit started off good. Neil Anderson didn't play well in the first half.
Neil was Neil again. Neil had his typical Neil bad. I'm bad. Neil Edson day.
Well, because the thing is, he forced a few throws where he didn't have the size matchup disadvantage. Sean Avram is not Sasha Papic,
No.
and Shit took that away because they knew what was gonna happen. They knew who they were playing against. They played that the defense right. And the Josh Wright played well in the first half, man. Some big plays offensively, 2 good touchdowns.
Yeah.
And shit just got away. Like the game got away from Bearskins, and then the OCs piled up, and they just couldn't
Unravel for them. And contrary to what they said, like, hey, the referees kind of influenced the game.
No,
I just think that Sean, and that's the thing. I like Sean, I like Vinny.
Listen, there were some plays where there was the one play in particular that really like ignited everything was the interception by Marco Bertolli in the back of the end zone.
Yes, which
So-
was a non-call, which was incomplete.
So Lance Daniels, Game of the Week guy, was filming the game, but he was where he was positioned on the field. You couldn't see,
no,
like he didn't have the tape to see it.
exactly.
You were pretty much where I was, but
I was
same
slacking
distance,
off,
but
actually, to be honest with
you
you.
always slack off.
Yes.
But you were too far away to see it
I didn't
properly.
see it. I just saw him cast the ball.
From
when
my
it was-
field, I saw the play, but I was at midfield and I couldn't see his feet.
Yeah,
And the referee was on the line and he called him out of bounds.
which is fine because referee.
Which I mean, he's there.
yeah.
And like everybody else on that team was not even in the end zone. So if he bubbled it, then he bubbled it. Right? At the end of the day, he did. Like, I agree with you. It could be a bad call, but from everybody's perspective, the ref had the best angle on it.
He did. And unfortunately for the Bearskins, they crumbled.
And
And
after that play, that was it. After that play, they just lost it.
yes, Eagle.
Was that the reason they lost though? Because it seemed
It
like
sort of was the impetus on why
the
they lost.
catalyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
because they were down. That interception allowed them to sort of come back to the game and make it a 1 possession instead of 2 possessions.
And
Which-
prior to that, last play of the first half, Sean Abram took a PI and put the ball at the 1, and they scored. And
Yeah.
that kind of opened up the floodgates.
So it's sort of like, so they were down 2 scores. That interception would have made it possible for them to go down only 1 score. Ended up being a 3-score lead for shit. And then the touchdown, and then that play just made them lose their minds. And then they got penalties on penalties and penalties. And
So I asked you a question. Chris Gervais made a good point on
What?
Tuesday.
Go ahead.
He brought up a point. He said he thinks the best matchup right now would be Tats against Le Malud in the final. Would you agree, yes or no?
nah, these studs against the Tats, man.
I said studs. He goes, no.
I think that game-wise, it would probably make a better game, Les Malades against the Afatis, because they run very similar. Right? They're a very similar team. They're both very physical, good players. Their offense runs the same way, but it's going to be a low-scoring affair where teams win the finals like 20-19, and it's boring. If we have Tats against the Studs, it's going to be a 40-40 game, and that's going to be super fun to watch.
Look, I don't think Le Malud will make it out of their own side of the bracket because they will have to meet the studs at some point in the playoffs.
Studs are
and-
good, man.
yeah.
But Studs are matchup dependent.
Yes.
I don't think they could beat anybody in this. Like, if Studs played Brotherhood at full strength, there's a chance Brotherhood wins that game.
Yeah.
If Studs play Cougars, it's it's just a matter of Sam Cowell makes one mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
The same thing that happened when they played lightweight is Sam Cowell he didn't make a mistake. The receiver
Yeah.
made a drop. We picked it off. We grind the clock, and he got 2 plays. Down 7, 2 plays. They're not going to win games like that.
So how crazy is it in Conference B? 5 wins may not be enough to get you in the playoffs.
But Conference B is weak, though.
But look at it. You have Commission, Skins, Crew, Shit, Jaguars, and Sweat and Beers all at 5 wins.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And 5 may not get you into the playoffs.
crazy.
Whereas
It's
any
good.
other division, it gets you in the playoffs, no
Yeah,
problem.
it's because the bottom 3, the Magicians, Olympia Performance, and Big Ballers are very, very weak.
Oh, they're terrible.
So they're sort of feeding wins to the other teams, which everybody now melts at 5. It's going to make for a super interesting finish between, like you said, Sweat and Beers, Jaguars, Shit, the Crew, Bearskins, Commission. Dirty Dogs, I think they'll be all right, and then it's at 6-2. So Sweat and Beers is currently the one on the outside looking in.
So are they going to be on the outside looking in by the time we hit playoffs?
They play Jaguars and the Crew.
And that's not easy.
But
Just-
no,
I wanna
but
ask
Jaguars
a
and the
question
Crew
here.
also, like, they're in the same spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Scored your girlfriend. Are they basically out of luck? Because they need
Yeah,
3 wins
for
to
sure.
tie.
For
And they're
sure.
playing Freshmen, Shit, and Martina Laflag.
For sure they are because Eagle, the idea is that you're 4 points out with 3 games to go. You need to get at minimum 5 wins now. You know how hard it is to get a win?
They need to go 6-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, Bearskins, the Crew, already played 9 games.
Yeah,
right?
but Bearskins and the Crew already have 10 points.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying they need Scored Your Girlfriend needs 2 out of 3 wins, right? In order to get 10 points to get into a God knows how many people potential tie. Right?
Yeah, but then it comes down to points against, and the Score Girlfriend has one of the highest, right? So
Not really.
No, they're -8 right now.
Bro,
Or plus
they're
8.
at
plus 8.
7 games played at 237.
Yeah.
They're going to play 3 more games. That's going to pile up to 330 points. It's the highest in the conference.
Maybe.
Projection.
You just forgot to look at games played. That's
Everybody's
smiling.
performance is probably
most
gonna be
guys
the
are
worst.
at 9 and they're at 7. That's why. But yes,
But that's the thing. I mean, I look at this. I'm like, my God, like 6 wins may not be enough.
that would be crazy though. If a 6-14 doesn't make the playoffs,
I hope that happens. So we get like a pissed off team complaining to Rob, bro. I paid all this money and I only got
I'm
6
6
wins.
and 4,
I didn't
bro.
make the playoffs. Bleep you in
Yeah.
your league.
No, I
I'm
think
gonna
it's gonna make for a crazy finish between the Crew, Jaguars, Sweat and Beers. I think shits are gonna be all right because of that win against Bearskins this week. That puts Bearskins, like if Bearskins would have been 6-3, that would have been easier for them. But now shit is back in playoff contention. It's gonna make for a crazy finish in Conference B. But nobody's catching up to Blue Chips.
So are
and
Dirty
Appleton.
Dogs safe in your mind?
At 6-2, I think they're safe. Even if they lose out, they'll be all right. 6-4, they'll be fine.
Okay, on the other side, Conference A.
Just on that point for Dirty Dogs, they're playing Alpha T's and Olympia Performance, so they're getting a win.
But they're
Yes.
in a loss too. 7-3. Here we go.
If they fall 7-3, the commission could jump them if the commission wins out.
I don't think they're gonna win out. They could.
Yeah, they could, but I don't trust the commission enough to say they're
They're gonna
Commission
win
are
out.
playing Jaguars and Cougars.
not easy. Not easy.
Hey, the 8 seeds. This is crazy how this all pans out though. Like everybody's playing like all these games are going to be amazing.
Phenomenal. Okay, so on the other
Phenomenal.
side, Conference A, we got KGP, Trinity, Cougars, all have 4 wins.
Les Malheurs, Les Studs locked in.
Yes.
So because Junkyard Dogs lost to KGP yesterday.
I'm gonna put lightweight in this locked in as well. Just to give you. a heads
Hey,
up.
that's nice for me. Thank
Yeah, Brotherhood 2.
Honestly, I think that 10 points in the Conference A is enough. Because Top Sauce and Junkyard Dogs are going to sort of like, and even though Top Season is not out yet, we've seen crazier things. If Top Sauce wins out and Junkyard Dogs wins out, we could see Brotherhood and Lightweight struggle.
Junkyard Dogs have who the last 2 games?
I'm checking right now.
Because remember, they don't have the tiebreaker with KGP anymore. So KGP has that over them. So they're in a hole for that. But if Junkyard Dogs were to lose and there would be wins by Cougars and Trinity, it pretty much will seal their fate as playoff.
So Junkyard Dogs have Top Season and Blue Chips.
Oh, God, that's not easy.
No, but it's going to be fun.
No way. Now with Rob White calling that defense.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is going to be fun is because they played Top Season and it was also in the hole. Right? So the
Yeah.
loser of that game is essentially out of the playoff race.
And
I think
Top
Top
Sauce has Lightweight and LGM, like we talked about before. And
That's
Top
it.
Season has Bearskins, The Magicians, and then Junkyard Dogs. Junkyard Dogs is the last game on their schedule. So imagine if that's the play-in win to
It
get
most
in.
likely. Well, it's
I don't think so. I think Junkyard Dogs will be done by then.
well they're playing Top Season.
And Blue Chips, no?
Yeah.
Junkyard Dogs, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think by the time they'll be 3-6 going into that game.
I think
that
the,
won't be
the
enough.
teams that should be afraid of not making the playoffs at this point: KGP, Trinity, Junkyard Dogs, Top Sauce, and Top Season. Cougars, I think
Whoa.
they're going to be all
So
right.
what the hell are you doing, man? With that pen? Are you like writing? Okay, I thought you were writing something down on the table.
No.
Cougars have LGM and The Commission.
I think Cougars are going to go 6-4. I think Cougars are going to win out the rest of the way.
I think they split.
Okay.
Would that be enough for them to qualify for playoffs?
That would give them 5 wins.
I think that would be enough because I think Junkyard's going to lose this week.
Junkyard would need to win out.
They need to win out. There's no ifs or buts for them now. But with that defense, no way.
Top Sauce, Junkyard Dogs, Top Season needs to win out. They don't play each other, so it's Top Season plays Junkyard Dogs, so one of them's gonna kill the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough, man. I think this week's gonna have like a huge effect on who's gonna make it in and who's not. And I'm for status quo at this point. I think that this is what's gonna happen. Top Season won't win out. Top Sauce won't win out. Junkyard Dogs won't win out.
And just in case someone can drop, Trinity's playing Shit and Lightweight, and KGP is playing Magicians at their last game.
See, like Trinity plays shit this week. They need a win.
Man.
And shit at this point, because they're 7th seed, they also need a win.
Yeah.
And if I'm like, putting my stock in any of these teams, shit's gonna put up, they're gonna win by 25.
And 6 wins may not be enough to get in the playoffs. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
How crazy is that, man?
I remember putting, back when I was doing the playoff standings on an Excel spreadsheet, I remember putting you remember, Eagle?
Good old days.
Yeah.
Remember, I did them.
Good old days. I remember there was a 5-5 team that didn't make the playoffs.
And we're upset about that.
They were so mad.
I just want
so angry.
I wanted a team to go 6-4, and then
They were so mad because the team in the other conference, because that was Conference B,
Yeah.
the Conference
3 and
A,
7.
3-7 made it in, and 5-5 did not, and they were so.
So
angry.
here's a question for you, right? I had it on the script. So the Studs are in the 3 hole at 7-2.
nasty.
Now the number 2 seed by virtue of the division lead is Martin
Le Flag
at 5 and 3. Now,
Yep.
should this change where if you're the 3 seed and you have a superior record than the second division winner, should you not jump them to be the 2 seed?
No.
Well, so here's the thing.
I want to hear your point.
Does
I
it
want to hear Eagles'
really-
point out there.
Like, does it really matter your sub-conference?
Yeah.
Because I mean, in this particular situation, Martin Le Flag has an easier schedule than these studs across the board. Like, because of who they're matched up against in their little subdivision, that subdivision is weaker. So Martin Le Flag has an easier schedule than these stud has.
Okay, so I'll look like devil's advocate. Let's say Le Malud and Studs were Malud goes 10-0, Studs go 9-1,
Yeah.
and Martin Le Flag are 6-4.
Yeah.
So
We've seen it before. It happened before, right?
That's what I'm saying. Though, but should we not reward like division winner? You get
9-1 should have been the number
right.
2
So
seed in this
shouldn't
case, right?
the second division winner still get that spot of hey, well, you'll be in the playoffs, but hey, if you are inferior record with the number 3 team, 3 team moves up to number 2.
The only reason I disagree with you is because if you're in a division where the top and bottom are very polarized, right? So you have the top 2 teams that are the 10-0s or 9-1s, and the bottom teams are the 0-10s or the 1-9s. And in the other division, it was super competitive and everyone cannibalized and very much parity. And you came out on top in that grouping. Why are we going to penalize you for having a
Okay,
harder?
so let's say Martin Le Flag were below 500.
Okay, but
in
this
one
isn't
division.
cannibalized.
It doesn't matter.
Look, but look at
How are you going to finish below 500 and win top seed?
okay. So
It
look at
happened, right? He met.
It happens, but that means the rest of your conference, you beat out the rest of your conference who are a division who is also terrible at that
no.
point.
Look at this team. Look at it in Conference A. So the East side: Les Malud, Les Studs, Lightweight, Brotherhood, Cougars, Top Sauce, and LGM. Okay. Les Stud only loss came. They lost 2 games to Lightweight and was
playoff team.
it Brotherhood? Who's the other team they lost to?
No, they beat Brotherhood this year. I forget the other team they lost to.
Junkyard Dogs.
Oh
So-
God. Oh
we
man,
tried-
that just threw my theory out the window.
So,
Never mind.
anyways, so point remains. There are only 2 losses. I mean, it came from either points. Les Malud 8-1. Like, the stronger teams are in the East. In the West, Martin Le Flag, Trinity, KGP, Junkyard Dogs, Topses, and Freshmen. They're all the teams that are on the lower end of the bracket fighting
Freshman
for a playoff
out,
spot.
top season not in, and it's a Junkyard Dogs, right?
Not in, yeah. KGP who were just sort of pushed in.
Yeah.
Trinity who were struggling, and Martin Le Flag. So all their wins came from playing each other, and all their loss came from playing the other conference, the other side of the subdivision. So, which makes one subdivision stronger than the other one. Why are we rewarding a team for beating their conference but losing to the other one?
Because they came out first in their conference, or their division rather.
So if a
But
team,
yeah, in the conference, yes, I agree with the conference concept of not playing each other's conferences and whatnot because your schedules are completely different. But in this case, the schedules are very similar.
Doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to go ahead and say, "Oh, let's take a look at their schedule
okay,
to see
so
what's going to happen this
Eagle,
year."
let's just say,
I mean, we don't need the subdivision.
let's
We're
say
not the
l-
NFL. We don't need a division titles.
right. So the Studs and Le Malud.
That's my point. We don't need them to give.
But then we stop grouping them like this, right? Because it comes
Oh,
into
you can
play.
still group them like this.
when
We
you-
just don't have to reward being number one. You make the playoffs as a conference, not as a subdivision.
Well, the reason we did it is because you may have buys, right? You may have first round buys,
But we
depending
don't
on
have
who make it.
buys.
I'm saying if you do, then it's important.
Yeah, but the NBA does. They have divisions, but they do conference playoffs though.
Yeah.
And NHL for years did conference playoffs, regardless of what division you're in.
Yeah, it's more fun.
You know, they gave division winners the top 3, but obviously in this case,
You always
though,
had Washington or Tampa.
right?
or
But
those guys
but
get
the
it.
case here is that we are saying to the Studs, bleep you, yeah, you went 8-2, but guess what? You'll be a 3 seed. You won't be a 2 seed.
Well, because the reason why the NFL does this is to market the shittier games, right? It's to market the tight ends against the Jags. It's a good game. It matters because division, and they're gonna get a bye because they're
That's
division
like
winners.
lightweight against LGM.
Yeah, boy, right? So they're trying to market these games to make them more worthy of like being televised and whatever. We don't have to do that. We don't televise games.
I
Yeah,
just
but
think
we
this
don't televise games,
this
but you play
has to be
those games
reviewed.
and you go into it with more like, okay, we need to get this win.
But this has to be reviewed. In my books, it has to be reviewed because
Show up to the rules committee meeting.
yeah, I'm with Carey Price.
Yeah,
Julian
that's not a rules
on-
committee thing though.
It is.
That's more of a like amateur.
That's not rules.
whatever.
That's more of a league initiative.
Yeah, but you bring it up there. The referees defer it back to Rob, and then Rob takes it.
And Rob's like, you know what it is? Rob would be like, you know what? He'll be the third person. You know what it is? Eagle, Simon, you know what I'm talking about, Mo. When it comes to divisions, you know, at the end of the day, we
yeah,
need to
but
have.
if you don't put it on the list, he doesn't do it. So
yeah,
you gotta show up.
exactly.
That's right. Yeah, we have to make it like official.
Hey, look,
Make the master list.
before we sign out here, again, I just think right now stats should be higher. All right, games of the week, please.
Games of
Because
the
you have a hard on for
week.
Samko. You
You
Damn
wanna
straight I
start
do. He's gonna win quarterback of the year. I'm gonna be there to present
Okay,
the
okay.
trophy.
Here's the real question for you. He's at 58 touchdowns.
Yes.
Is he getting 65?
Hell's no.
Is he
ain't
scoring
getting
7
60.
this week?
He ain't scoring 7, but he's gonna get 60 plus.
2,200 yards, 58 touchdowns.
As Stephen A. says.
Well, okay, so what's more likely? 2,500 yards or 65 touchdowns?
2,500 yards. As Stephen A. says, he's a bad man.
Dirty Dogs versus the Tats.
Give me tats.
Jaguars, the Commission.
I have them on Saturdays, so I'm
Give me
gonna
Jaguars,
go
man.
with commission.
Really? Over
Yeah,
Jaguars?
I'll go commission.
You don't like
yeah.
your boys no more?
I like them, but rubbing off.
So what happened? No, I want to know. I want to know this.
I don't know.
You were so high on him like
I
2
know
weeks
I
ago.
was. I haven't seen that much this year. That's why. Next.
In order to be like the Bee Gees and to stay alive, Top Sauce need to win against Lightweight.
No. Oh man, Simo's
Well,
gonna have another skin on his fucking wall.
I I know what's gonna happen in this game. I know who's gonna be there or not. So I'm gonna refrain from picking.
Next.
Bearskins top season. Same thing for top season.
Give me top season.
I think top season upsets Bearskins here to stay alive.
Les Stud versus Big Ball. No, never mind. No, I read that wrong.
Is Sam Carroll gonna drop 7 touchdowns? Yes.
We got Shit versus Trinity.
Shit.
Give me shit, man.
Yeah, shit.
Malud Brotherhood.
Ooh, that's a good
Brotherhood.
game.
Brotherhood.
Who plays for Brotherhood? Like, who's on their team this season?
Cast of characters.
I'm gonna go with Malud to stay at number 1 seed.
Scored Your Girlfriend versus Freshman. Scored Your Girlfriend need to win.
Scored your girlfriend. Freshman
Yes.
terrible.
No, yeah,
They're a Division 7D team.
Danny Demore's on that team now.
No, but he's too much.
But even with Danny Damo, it's an upgrade, but it's just not a Division 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
And Cougars to keep their seed against LGM.
Cougars.
Eagle, really?
I mean, I'm picking the ones that are relevant.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy.
Cougars.
Cougars, baby.
Match words, please.
From all of us here at the Weekly Extra Point Live, eventually this is going to get old.
Good night,
Some-
Rob White.
Some of these guys know
Your
this.
DC days are over, big boy.
It's rude. Mocha really had a thing for him today.
Robert, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw him under the bus a little bit more, why don't you?
It was terrible, man. His play call was awful on Wednesday night, man.
This is the Mocha that I like, man. The one that takes hot takes.
Hot
It was
takes.
bad, man. What do you want me to do?
A hot steak.
Toss up.